Hey everybody, it's Cindy here, and today I want to talk to you about loneliness. Many of you have told me that you are feeling lonely in your life and you're not sure what to do about it. And so I looked up a definition of loneliness, and it said it is perceived social isolation or disconnection. Perceived social isolation or disconnection. And I thought that was very, very interesting because of the word perceived. So, in other words, it's what we are believing, right? When we're feeling lonely, we are believing that we are alone. We are believing we are isolated from others. We are believing that we are disconnected from other people, the world, whatever. And so, we're going to talk about that a little in a few minutes. So, there's being lonely and there's being alone. And I love to be alone. I love to spend time alone. And that doesn't mean that I'm lonely or that I want, a life of isolation. So learning how to be alone is one thing. Being lonely is another. So I'd really like to see you become comfortable with being alone or going places alone. Like when I got divorced and my nest was empty, I moved. I got comfortable like going to restaurants alone for meals, going to movies myself that I wanted to go see, or trying new things and all those kinds of things. And so learning to be confident when we're on our own and don't have people with us all the time is a wonderful skill to learn. And this might be a chapter in your life where that would be a wonderful thing for you to practice. But anyway, you can start small and just go for a walk by yourself, or go sit in a park by yourself, or go read a book in a library by yourself, or do something and then build up to, or go have a coffee at a local coffee house or something and sit by yourself and for 30 minutes and go, okay, I can be alone. I can be alone and be okay. Anyway, but that's a whole other thing. So let's talk about when you're feeling lonely and what that means. One thing, a few things to understand about why loneliness is a problem. Well, first of all, it's a huge problem in our society, and actually the increase in social media for some reason has actually increased our feeling of loneliness. So we're looking for something with more personal connection, and social media, we think that's enough, but we are interdependent. Human beings are interdependent. And what that means is that we are wired biologically and neurologically to be with other people, It doesn't have to be 24/7, but we are interdependent. So in other words, we rely on each other as a human system to be together in the world. And we are wired this way. Our brain is wired this way. Our bodies are wired this way to want that, to desire that, and to work well in that. And so if you're feeling isolated, thinking that you're all alone in the world, that's part of why it's so depressing. And the more isolation you experience, like loneliness tends to perpetuate itself. So if you feel alone, you tend to go into your cave more. So then you're even more isolated and more alone. So it can feed on itself and get you more and more depressed and uncomfortable. Actually, Brené Brown in some of her work shared a study, and I don't know the exact source it came from, if it was a qualitative study she did or if it was research she found and shared in one of her books or something. But I remember this very clearly. It said that it was a study about early death, what we call early death. People that are in air pollution regularly have a 5% chance of earlier death than the average in our country. People who are obese have a 20% chance of an early death. People who excessively drink have a 30% chance of a higher chance of an early death. And people who are lonely, have perpetual loneliness, have a 45% higher chance of an early death. Now that says a lot. So in other words, your survival is partially dependent on you mixing with the world some, right? So, and having a sense of belonging with other people. Okay, again, it's not a 24/7 lifestyle, but belonging somewhere. And so what are we going to do about this? Okay, so one of the big causes of loneliness is fear. Fear of starting over, fear of embarrassing yourself, fear of not knowing what to do, fear of not being liked, fear of not being worthy, fear of this, that, the other, and the other, and the other, fear of lack of safety issues if you're out by yourself, and so on. So one of the things is we have to absolve the fear. We've got to absolve fear and realize that a lot of things we fear never actually happen. It's just a story we're telling ourselves in our head, but it doesn't have to make them true. And so I would do anything that you can to really check your thoughts about what you're fearing and drop the fear. Change your thoughts so you can drop the fear. And then ask yourself these 3 questions. Where do I belong? Where do you belong? Like, where do you feel like you belong in the world? Number 2, who is your tribe? Who are your people? Okay? Who are your people? And it could be 1 or 2 people. Even if you have one good friend or a neighbor you really like and appreciate, or colleagues, a couple people you work with on a committee or something, even in a charitable organization, or colleagues at a job where you have a common purpose, or your family, your biological family, or your chosen family, if it's a different, or maybe you belong to some organization, a club, a church, a gym, like a gym, a health club or something. Maybe you go to a support group of some sort. If you don't, you might want to get one. So who is your tribe? So where do you belong? Who is your tribe? And what do you love to do? What do you love to do? Or what would you love to try that you've always meant to try in your life and you've never tried? The answers to these questions can help draw you into activity and purpose and places to go and things to do that will surround you with other people who might enjoy the same kinds of things as you. You know, if you go to a poetry reading because you like poetry, you're going to meet other people or have the opportunity to meet other people who enjoy poetry, for example. Or if you like to go to to live music venues, then you will find other people there who enjoy the kind of live music that you enjoy. So there are opportunities to meet people and mix with people who you have something in common with. And then look who's already in your life. Who is your tribe right now? Who are you not noticing that you could spend some time with? I actually reached out to a woman here that lives in the same town I do that I mixed with. We've been in some similar experiences here. But we've never gone out on our own or, done a one-on-one kind of meeting together. And I thought, well, maybe she's not interested, but I'm interested in knowing her better. But maybe she's not interested in knowing me better. Maybe I shouldn't bother her. I had all that little dialogue going on in my head. And then I thought, who cares? I'm going to ask her. So I invited her out to meet for coffee one day a while back. And we had the best visit. And since then, we've had lunch. And there's a friendship growing, but I stuck my neck out a little bit because I didn't know if she was interested in getting to know me better. I didn't know much about her schedule, actually. I didn't know how busy she was or, what all her life entails even, but I've learned more now and we're seeing that we have a lot of common interests and enjoying each other's company. So, but it took a little bit of a risk. The worst that could have happened was she'd tell me no, and then, you move on, right? You go, no means next. And so if you're feeling lonely, you're going to have to stick your neck out a little bit and start moving toward activities you love, things you love to do, or things you've always wanted to try or learn. Think about who the people are that are already in your life that you could reach out to and say, hey, let's spend some time together. Or please can we have a conversation? Or let's meet up over here or whatever. And where do you feel like you belong? Where do you feel like you belong? So think about those questions, please, and let the answers that come up really direct you in a way that you can begin to spread your wings a little bit, get out of isolation, and start mixing with the world again. No matter what you're going through, no matter where you've been, what you've done, what you haven't done, where your life is, it's okay. It's okay. Today is a new day, and you can start new today. Please do not suffer in isolation and loneliness. It is completely unnecessary. There are 7 billion people on the planet, and there's over 1,000 of us right here in this group. So reach out and let people know that you are available and ready to make new friends or try new things or whatever, or share yourself more. It does take you making the move, because people may not know that you're feeling isolated and alone, and they may not even know how to find you or reach you. So you've got to take some responsibility if your life's going to change. And I really welcome you doing that, and I can support you as a coach in doing that also. So if you'd like to have a conversation with me about that, just message me, let me know, and we'll get started. Have a great day.